From Slice Communications, please welcome Cass Bailey.
Good morning, everyone. How's ThinkFest going for you so far? Awesome, great. Hopefully you're getting some inspiration, some innovative new ideas. Hopefully you're meeting some new people. That's what ThinkFest is really all about. I'm Cass Bailey from Slice Communications. We are so happy to be a sponsor and part of the Philadelphia Magazine family. But today I'm really most excited to introduce you to Tracey Welson-Rossman. I first met Tracey a couple of years ago at a cloud computing technology conference. And if you can imagine, now thinking back, Tracey and I were probably some of the very few women in that room. When I first met her, I realized instantly that Tracey is a person that creates action. She's somebody who has a great idea and knows how to make it actually happen. And so at the time, we started talking about Tech Girls. Tech Girls is this amazing organization that Tracey's going to talk to you more about, but this summer, I was lucky enough to be able to go to the Tech Girls summer camp and to meet these incredible middle schoolers that now have the ability to create technology businesses and think of their lives, their futures, and their possibilities in a whole new way. So women truly are the future of tech, and Tracey's going to talk a lot more about that, but I just want you to know that she is making this happen and that she's an inspiration for me, and hopefully a lot of you will get to see why in her talk today. So with that said, I am so humbled and excited to introduce you to Tracey Welson-Rossman.
So I've been told that my PowerPoint is not working. So we like to say at my office, it's not a software demo if there's not a glitch. So you get to look at me the whole time. So good morning. You'll be hearing a lot and have heard a lot about technology during ThinkFest and the role that it's playing in innovation today. Technology is not only important to companies large and small, but it's transforming the lives of ordinary people like you and me. It's pervasive, and some may feel invasive, but it's part of almost every piece of our lives. What you most likely won't hear today are some startling statistics that will affect our nation's ability to stay competitive in the global economy where innovation and tech play leading roles in economic growth. It's the incredible shortage of workers who are able to use technology in today's workforce. The Department of Labor forecasts by 2020 there will be 1.4 million new information technology job openings in the United States, and that universities are expected to produce only enough qualified graduates for 29% of these job openings. So just think about it, that's leaving 71% unfilled. And let's extend this out beyond what is considered traditional tech careers. The Labor Department predicts that 80% of all jobs will require some sort of technical skills. So just take a minute to think about your last visit to your doctor's office and how your doctor was using electronic medical records as an example. Hopefully I have your attention now about why this is an important issue for all of us in this room. What you also won't hear today is a realistic understanding of the voice that's not being heard in this conversation, and that is the voice of women. The tech industry is not utilizing a key part of our workforce to help solve this current and growing issue. As of today, women make up 51% of the workforce and account for 57% of the bachelor degrees earned. But in the tech world, women account for just 12% of the computer science degrees and make up less than 25% of the IT workforce. And tech entrepreneurs, the statistics are even less. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a computer genius to think to fill this growing gap, women would be a good place to start. But why are the women missing from this conversation? It would seem logical that women would be flocking to this industry for the amount of opportunities that exist. Besides all of the job openings, IT jobs consistently rank as some of the best paying and having very little salary disparity between men and women. You would also think that companies would want to encourage more women to work in this field. Studies have shown that diverse teams create better products because of the variety of experiences and backgrounds in the makeup of those teams. But an even more salient fact is the growing purchasing power of women. Can an all-male team create products that are attractive to a group who controls 70% of all online purchases? The answer to this question should be simple. The purpose of my talk is not to bore you with facts and figures, but it's to have you understand that solving this issue is not so simple. The truth is, the percentage of women in tech has steadily been declining since the late 80s. I see this situation like an onion, and unfortunately I've got some great graphics, but this is not going to work. So many layers, and each layer needs to be dealt with to ensure that the change to the equation is long-lasting. So let's start with the first layer. It's what I like to call the Sheldon Cooper effect. For those of you who don't know Sheldon, he's one of my favorite TV characters on one of my favorite TV shows, The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon and his friends represent what society thinks about computer and science nerds, that they're male, they have no social life, they play video games, they like science fiction and comic books, and they don't dress very well. Well, I can sort of tell you that the not dressing well part may be true. When you don't see yourself in a job, it's hard to see yourself in that job. The truth is, most people in this career don't look like Sheldon. I work with almost all men, and none of them look like him. Until the media and society change to the true picture and undo this stereotype, it's going to be difficult for us to attract more diversity to our field. Most people, when they hear about a job in tech, they also have a misperception of what the job entails. Sitting at a computer in some unlit room, staring at a monitor for hours without talking to another human being and working on a project that lacks creativity whatsoever. The reality is that a job in tech is very diverse. Jobs in tech today are evolving and are far bigger than just coding. Cybersecurity, analyzing data, video game design, working with e-textiles, digital media, and so much more that we haven't even thought about that is on the horizon. Why is it, as an industry, we fail to communicate the breadth of the possibility that technology can hold? We need to rethink how to present these possibilities to be involved in tech and begin presenting them to girls and young women in a way that resonates with them as they are thinking about their careers and their career paths. And let's discuss how we tell girls if they can be good at math or science, and also technology, because we're telling them that they're not areas that they can be good at. I did have pictures of 2 t-shirts that were being sold at national retailers that basically say, "My brother does my homework, I'm too busy getting pretty." Or my best subjects are not math and science, but shopping. These were just being sold at retailers less than a year ago. And yes, it is the year 2013. And again, we see that this stereotype is being driven about how girls relate to math and science and being smart. So we're not only showing girls that this is not where they should be, it also influences how they're treated by their peers, parents, and their teachers. Which brings us to school and home. There are many teachers who are very supportive of girls in math and science, but I've been told countless stories of school counselors and teachers who discourage girls from taking advanced math classes and who have allowed boys to be openly offensive to girls who were in their programming classes. We also need to understand that parents are not aware of the options available to girls in these fields. I've talked to many young women over the last couple years who have gotten out of college and now have decided to go into the tech field, and they've told me, "No one said I couldn't do this, but no one said that I could." But even if the support was there for girls at the high school level, there's a shortage of computer classes and technology teachers. The number of high schools offering introductory computer science courses dropped 17% from 2005 to 2009. And the number offering advanced placement computer science courses dropped 35% in that same time period. And in most cases, these classes are not part of core curriculum. They're extras or electives. And if you're like me, who's sending a high school senior off to college, you know how important this core curricula is when colleges are deciding whether to take you. If technology is, as the White House says on its website, an essential ingredient of economic growth and job creation, why aren't we teaching kids how to create it? Why is there such a disconnect? Schools have a role. And as we stated, we don't have enough teachers to teach, and we don't have enough research on teaching techniques on how to teach technology. We are going to need some non-traditional ways to help us get through this issue. The next place we need to take a look is at the workplace. A recent study showed that women were leaving technology companies at twice the rate of men. Some of the reasons cited were corporate culture, work-life balance, and a lack of advancement. I believe we need to take a look at an obvious factor as well. For many women like myself, you may be the only woman or one of few in your company or department. It's challenging to be the unicorn. Not all workplaces are welcoming, and even if they are, it's lonely. The last layer I'd like to discuss is one that is the toughest for women to accept, and that is taking a look at ourselves. As we've already covered, there's a number of obstacles that are standing in our way and that are put out by society that are stacking the deck against our success. To grow our numbers in the field, women need to be more willing to be risk takers and believe in our own abilities. It's not enough for us to just talk about challenges anymore. It's time to take action, to move from the single unicorn and to create a herd. And we are. Over the past several years, a few organizations have been popping up around the country that are tackling the issues of perception, lack of classes, lack of role models, lack of information, and lack of community. As you can see from the variety and scope of issues, no one organization can solve the problem on their own. There are too many nuances to each layer of the onion to have one blanket answer. There are a budding number of organizations around the country that are taking this head on, such as Black Girls Code, the Girl Scouts, the National Center for Women in Information Technology, and Skill Crush. Locally, I am proud to say that Philadelphia is a hub of activity for supporting and growing the number of women in tech. Groups like Girl Develop It, which began in New York but has one of the largest chapters in Philly, has been teaching women introductory and now more advanced tech classes in supportive environments. The group has also been instrumental in helping their students find work in the tech field. Geek Girls Dinners, with an active chapter in Philadelphia, allows women to hear from speakers on technical topics while finding a network. The Women in Tech Summit, a one-day conference in Philadelphia, brings together women to explore career options in tech. And finally, Operation Eve, a program developed by breadboard.org that adds art to the STEM conversation, making it STEAM, to showcase the creative side of technology to girls. And of course, I would be remiss in not discussing my favorite, tech girls. We are tackling the issues starting at middle school. We conduct short-form, hands-on, interactive workshops, and as Cass had mentioned, a Tech Entrepreneur Summer Camp. We're doing this on a year-round basis. Before we start our program, we talked to girls to understand what they wanted and learn that they connected to tech in a different way than boys do. They were interested in the creative side of technology and also how tech solved problems. We're lucky enough to have a dedicated group of volunteers, men and women, from the Philly tech community who are willing to create and teach these workshops. And while they're teaching, they're also being role models for our participants. We're fortunate to have alliances with groups from Drexel, the Science Center, the Hacktory, Girl Develop It, Penn, and many more. Our workshops are covering the wide breadth of what tech can do these days: 3D printing, game design, Ruby and Python coding, tech entrepreneurship, mobile development, podcasting, and lots more. We've found that besides creating community for our girls, we're creating a community for our volunteers, many of whom are the only women in their companies. To date, we've worked with close to 300 girls and are having trouble keeping up with demand. And even though these processes are labor-intensive, they are working. This is where the girls start coming in. They're really cute, and you love them. Angel started at Tech Girls 3 years ago, and she did not like math or science. I'm not sure how her mom got her to our workshop in the first place. She now wants to be a web designer and entrepreneur. Or Nala, who says, "I like the way Tech Girls makes me think. It makes me think about all the possibilities that girls from my generation can figure out with science for the next generation." And the Visser sisters, who started an online business called Swap Shop that started at our tech camp. and who this month will be teaching a course on robotics. And Taylor, who says to girls her own age, girls hold in their hands not only the future of society growing ever more connected to and by its technology, but also the future of their own female peers. And Lydia, who in our second year went to 8 of our 10 workshops and was sad that she couldn't make all 10. And last, Becca, whose interest and skill level in tech has grown since she became our Tech Girls intern and is currently representing as one of 7 women in Temple's Comp Sci program. She recently told me that she did not realize how important our community was to her until she saw the actuality of the numbers in the room. Each one of us here today has a chance to change the outcome of these challenges in your own lives and in your own companies by thinking how you can support girls and women in your world. And keep in mind as you hear the other talks and panels today about technology and innovation, that we know that one day our girls will be making it happen. Or as we like to say at Tech Girls, the next Steve Jobs will be a girl. Thank you.